So I need to make an addendum because on the first part, I said that I had only played a little bit of Ninja Gaiden 4 and Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Hmm.
Since that recording, I haven't made any progress in Ninja Gaiden 4. However, I have beaten Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. And that game is awesome. That game is sick. So, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is a 2D action platformer made by the same developers of Blasphemous. If you've ever played that, Blasphemous is a Metroidvania. Although Ragebound is not a Metroidvania. The developers are called the Game Kitchen, and their sprite work is phenomenal. Like their sprites, just look up Blasphemous. It is the most gnarliest sprite work and background art you've seen for a game. It is intense. And they bring that same level of detail to Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. And it is awesome. So Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is also... It's not meant to be like a one-to-one exactly the same as the original NES Ninja Gaiden games, but it's supposed to be like reminiscent of those old games, but, modernized, I guess you could say. And unlike most other Ninja Gaiden games, it does not star Ryu Hayabusa. He's like barely in the game. He's in it as the first boss fight, as like training for the main character Kenji, but then he's like gone for the rest of the game. So the game is primarily about Kenji, who is another ninja of the Hayabusa clan. This game, by far, and this is not saying much, to be fair, I think, but it has the best story out of any Ninja Gaiden game, which is a super low bar.
Yes. Like to me, like in terms of Ninja Gaiden games, I still think like the first game has the best story. But even then, the story was really straightforward and whatever most of the time.
Yes. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound by far has the best story. It has a pretty interesting premise where Kenji is trying to a bunch of demons and stuff are coming out of like a gate, and behind it is like a demon lord that's he's trying to like come back to like the human world, but this gate is what's keeping him. So Kenji goes and sees like what's going on, why are all these like smaller demons like coming out of the gate, and he ends up finding another ninja from the Black Spider clan who has always been at odds with the Hayabusa clan. These are two clans that don't see eye to eye. The Hayabusa clan is more traditional. They live in like the mountains in secret, while the Black Spider clan are a little more integrated into society. They're a little more high tech,
Remember those guys that blew themselves up trying to kill you? Yes, those guys.
Yeah, they're the ones that threw the exploding shurikens at you and had the fucking rocket launchers in the second game. So Kenji and this girl, Kumori, who's a Black Spider ninja, they're both like almost dead. Like they, I'm not gonna get into the specifics of what happened, but like they both find themselves like almost dead. And she's like, shit, we need to put aside our differences and start working together. So she happens to have, she was going to use it on the Demon Lord, but she has this like special kunai, and she's like, I need you to stab me with this. And he's like, I don't understand why, but okay, I don't have any other options. And when he does, her soul gets transferred to his body. And this is how one of the coolest aspects of this game comes about, because now you have both of their abilities, but as you're playing through the game, she has her own dedicated meter. So when you attack enemies, it builds up her purple meter, and with that, two of the buttons actually allows you to either just exclusively throw her kunai, or you can use the other button to use a like specified item. So as you play through the game, you can go to the shop and you can buy different moves that goes onto that button. It can range from throwing a sickle overhead to like a chakram that like flies forward and comes back to you. One of my favorites was like these like blades that will circle around you. So this like it expands the gameplay a lot, because before that, just playing as Kenji, you know, he just has his sword. But now you have like all these other abilities. And it's so fun. It's so much fun. And another reason why I said this has like the best writing out of any Ninja Gaiden game is now you have two ninjas from rival clans that are like literally forced in the same body. And in the beginning of the game, they're like bickering with each other. They're arguing with each other. You know, they don't see eye to eye. But then as the game goes on, they start to warm up to each other. And they start to develop like a mutual respect for each other. It never slants romantic, which I felt was a little bit of a, you know, like I thought that was a missed opportunity. But even still, like their banter is great. Like it's genuinely fun to see them like rib on each other and like start to make fun of each other. Like Kenji has a thing for pirates. And there's like a level where you find a cave with like an abandoned ship and it's like filled with like pirate enemies. And Kenji's just like a nerd about pirates and he has like all this knowledge. And Kimura's just like, dude, what's your deal? It's genuinely a lot of fun. And I feel like this game does more with like the lore of Ninja Gaiden than any other game in the series. I feel like all the other games don't really like it felt like almost like every game like Ninja Gaiden's 1, 2, and 3.
I only know about the lore like there's fiends, which are the demons of this world, and there's like a hierarchical system with archfiends being the higher level of them, but besides that I don't really know much of it. The only other lore I know is that it's in the same universe as the Dead Alive series. So
what makes this game interesting from like a more like lore perspective is that it actually takes place while Ryu is doing the stuff that he did in the original NES Ninja Gaiden games.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
And that explains his absence in the game because he's busy doing all that stuff. So, and yeah, the gameplay of this game is phenomenal. Like it is fast pace, you know, tons of action. Like I mentioned before, not a Metroidvania, you know, but there is exploration elements to the game. Like it is level based. Like, so it's like, you know, you're just going level to level to level and they're all disconnected from each other. Mm-hmm. But each of the levels is really well crafted because it's not just a matter of defeating enemies. It's a matter of going through these platforming challenges with these enemies. Enemies usually die in just a one hit, but sometimes they might, some of them are a little tankier. And there are some enemies that have like a glowing aura around them. And if you hit them with the right weapon, that aura lets you kill anything in one hit, for sure. So if you have like a weak enemy that has that aura, if you kill it, you have a tankier enemy, then you could kill the tankier enemy in one hit. So the game is all about like keeping the pace up. And depending on how good you are, you can like really fly through these levels. And it's so much fun when everything starts clicking and you're like, all right, I'm killing this enemy. I got the glow. I just killed the tankier enemy. And another thing that this game has that I think is really fun is the guillotine flip, where if you this game does not have a double jump, but when you press the jump button again in midair, he'll do an extra animation. And what that allows him to do is to bounce off of enemies and projectiles. So the game is all about like going through these really intricate platforming challenges, making your way through enemies, and doing things like quickly. And it's just, and once you get into that flow state and you just go through these levels, you're guillotine flipping, killing enemies in one hit, you know, it's so much fun. And the boss fights are a challenge. Like the boss, like there were some boss fights I remember having to do like, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times because I was struggling. And like these boss fights are so much fun because there was never a point where I felt like a boss was so challenging that I wanted to give up. Like it was always just challenging enough where I knew like how to improve the next time. And you could feel yourself like getting better. It was just so much fun. Phenomenal game. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is a banger. Just no notes. Just like one of my favorite games that I've played this year. Hands down.
Cool.
Awesome. Definitely piqued my interest.
Yeah, I mean, even if you've never played a Ninja Gaiden game before, it doesn't matter. Like you can jump into this game because it's like new characters. Like most of the stuff that ties back into like the main series is just like stuff that's like cool to know. It's like, oh, okay. But like, yeah, it perfectly stands on its own. It's worth it for that amazing gameplay. The soundtrack is also a banger, the banter between the two main characters and the gorgeous sprite work. Just this game is just firing on all cylinders. Just again, one of my favorite games of this year. Definitely highly recommend.
Awesome. Cool.
Mm-hmm.